Hi guys, PRTCL here once again for another video, but this video is going to be something slightly different because right now I have on my Bandcamp the combination of a few years worth of productions combined and packaged into a nice new sample pack entitled PRTCL Sounds Volume 2. Now, as the pack suggests, this is the second pack of samples which I've put together. The first one you can also find on my Bandcamp, and the pack is a combination of about 4 years worth of productions, sounds which I've designed for tracks which I use or have even used in some productions in the past. You may recognize some of the sounds from tracks which I've released, and the pack is now available for you guys to buy from the Bandcamp, so I will make sure I leave a link to that in the description below. But the pack is 202 specifically individual WAV hits and some loops, a combination of drums, bass, atmospheres. So I wanted to take this video to just walk you through the pack, show you some of the sounds and give you a little bit of a demo how they work. So let's just dive straight into it. Okay, so as I said, here is the sample pack. We have everything broken down into 3 main sections. We have the atmospheres here, which is effects and pads. We have bass, which is individual hits and much more sustained, longer mid or sub bass line type sounds. And then we have drum loops, which are full drum loops, hat loops, which are just the hats, and kicks. We got 20 kicks here. Old school breaks, these are kind of crustier breaks, which some of my favorite things to use, and snares. So let's start from the top. I want to walk you through some of these sounds and just give you an example, but to hear each individual sound you can actually do that on the Bandcamp. They're all there ready to preview before you grab yourself a copy. So let's start from the top. Let's start with effects. We've got things like this, a nice acidy bleep sounds. We've got like a Chicago house pad. More weird effects here, like marble sounds. I use reversed effects quite a lot. So they're obviously best to use to kind of break up things, like break up a drum break up little sections, add interesting things to the background there. And then we've got our more traditional pads, more sustained atmospheric sounds. There we go. And as you can see, every sound which has a key or a note, it is labeled on the individual sound itself. Some more sounds like this. What else do we have here? There we go. So there's just a snapshot of the pad sounds. So let's move on to some bass hits. Let's try some of these. As you hear, much shorter bass stabs, which can be further distorted, used to kind of jump out of the mix a bit more. When I make samples, I notice a lot of sample packs have really well completed sounds that you're almost expected to just put together like building blocks of a track. That's not really how I make samples. I like to leave space for you to further distort, to further saturate, because I feel like this is how you personalize music a bit more, because everybody uses plugins in different ways. Everybody likes different levels of distortion. So what you'll hear from a lot of my sounds is like, they're not fully complete sounds that you can just drop in, but that's kind of what I want, and that's kind of what I would expect from a sample pack, because I like to have the room to input my own touches into the sounds. So if you agree with my little philosophy, then I'm very happy about that. There we go. So there's a snapshot of some of the bass hits. Let's try some more sustained stuff. You'll notice how some of these actually have a tempo on it as well. Some of these sounds, so they're exactly the length. They're exactly fit to 174 BPM, for example. Great, so there are a couple of sustained bass sounds, and let's move on to the drums. So let's start with some drum loops. I just want to make it very clear that sometimes when I preview some of these sounds, there is a small popping at the beginning, at the end. I just want to make it clear that these are pop free. I spent a few days going through these samples, making sure that everything was fully clean with them. Apart from the sound itself, obviously the sound itself is distorted. And also in Bandcamp, there's a small pop at the beginning, but that is just a result of the preview that does not exist in the sounds themselves. So here's some more hat loops. Yeah, I find these hats very useful. I decided to make loops because, I mean, if you want the individual hats, you can just obviously change the loop to take the hat itself. But I find these loops incredibly useful to just drop in, and when I'm in the kind of flow of a session, just drop them in. Okay, next we got some kicks. And the old school breaks. These are very interesting. These are not your traditional breaks that the more well-known ones, like your kind of James Brown funky drummer break, your Amen break, stuff like this. These are breaks which I have made to sound like old school breaks. A lot of them are like funk grooves which have just been distorted to make them sound like they would come from an old-fashioned desk, or like from the 70s. But here we have some more snares. So there's just a snapshot of all the sounds together, 202 in total. As I said, it's just like the culmination of 4 years worth of productions and sounds I would use regularly, or have even used in some release work. Okay, so I want to use this part of the video to show you how I would start a drum and bass track with these sounds, how to kind of edit them a little bit to make them more perfect, to fit a track idea. I'm probably not going to go into the mixing part of the process, but certainly getting an idea together is what I want to show you, and what's possible with these sounds. So let's start with the drums. Okay, so I'm feeling this track, but I want to switch up the arrangement a little bit. Just go for a traditional boom cha style arrangement. Okay, so there is our little break. find a snare. One of my favorite snare sounds, I think. Feeling a much shorter release time on this one. Let's layer it with this guy here. And of course, nothing like a hi-hat loop. To really get this thing moving a bit more. Sidechain compression from the kick, just to get that break there kind of pulsating a bit more. And let's add a little snap to the snare. So I go down one semitone because that one's in F and this is in G. Let's keep things in tune if we can. But for example, you can add some low cut here to make it more of a mid-range type sound. Let's add a couple of effects hits. Okay, so there was kind of a brief overview of the sounds from my new sample pack and how I would use the sounds from the sample pack to put together an idea for the beginnings of a track, with integrating effects and some extra processing to make everything sit better together. So if you like the sounds that you heard, if you like the music that I make, then you can grab the sample pack now from my Bandcamp. It will support me as an artist and hopefully help you make better drum and bass music. So until the next video, enjoy.